The price of gold has been absolutely smashed. Not in the last number of months or years, in the last 12 hours. We're going to talk about that in this video, but we got a lot more to cover because there's a couple big major stories that will impact both the gold and silver market, and one story in particular that will have direct impact on the silver market that could lead to, yes, you guessed it, skyrocketing silver prices. It's a big worldwide story. Very few people are talking about it, but we're going to cover it here in this video. But first, force yourself to smile. Hey guys, we got a new all-time high in gold. Last night was so exciting, right? Gold, $21.50 basically per ounce, $2,150. And then it was an immediate smash down. So what happened? Let's talk about a number of factors that were at play. Number one, you have to accept the fact that Sunday night trading of gold and silver, for that matter, is done on very limited volume. There's not a lot of players in the market. So it's not unusual on Sunday nights to have big, massive moves in the market that are sometimes quickly corrected. Now, did that happen last night? Last night's move was crazy, especially when you consider that it brought gold to a new all-time high and then immediately was smashed down. So I'm hearing all kinds of people crying about manipulation. How can gold go from $2,150 per ounce and then within 12 hours drop $100? I know there's slim trading on Sunday nights, no doubt about it, but we're talking about an almost 5% swing in the price of gold. So let's take stock. Let's remember, and I've got a chart I'm going to show you here in a little bit that's going to help you feel better. We did get a new all-time high in gold. And as we talked about last night, we did get a new all-time high on a monthly close basis. On November 30th, gold closed at $2,000 per ounce for the first time ever. Okay, so these Sunday night smash downs, right, are not uncommon, are smash ups like we had last night. Now, I'll be honest with you. At this point, I would have rather that we had gold down $70 per ounce last night and that now we're sitting up $40. But nonetheless, it is what it is. Is all hope lost? Are we done? Did Lucy pull the football? Are we going to have $1,900 gold by Christmas? I don't think so, guys. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go out on a limb right now and tell you that I think today, Monday, December 4th, 2023, that by the end of the day, and we've got gold sitting down $20 per ounce, I think there's a very good chance. Odds, if I had to bet, I'm going to say we're going to close green. Okay? I'm probably wrong, but I feel that we could see a comeback even today throughout the day in the gold price. These crazy moves, this volatility like we're seeing, right? That usually is a precursor for big, massive moves. I still believe 100% that we're going to get to $2,600 gold in 2024. I don't see any fundamental underlying, and we're going to talk about, hey, thank you for the soup. Wow, Tara, thank you for that super chat. Okay, thank you. Very generous. I don't see the fundamental reasons supporting the metals changing. Nothing changed in the last 12 hours, right? Take stock of that. Nothing changed and we did hit a new all-time high. It will be interesting to see how today plays out. Hang in there, guys. And remember, basement dwellers, those of you like me who've been invested in this sector for decades, we're used to getting whipsawed around. I mean, it's a bummer. Don't get me wrong. I'm not happy about it. But, it's not like it's the end of the world. And we got to remember right now, let me look at the gold price. I'm going to give you a live update. Yes, we're living right on the look. We have $2,050 gold. Now pay attention here, guys. This is important. Please give this a thumbs up. That's a virtual hug, and we all need to give each other virtual hugs. Press that thumbs up button, please, okay? But we need to remember something. Here, look at this. I have a 60-day chart of the price of gold that I'm going to show you here in just a second. So while we're crying in our coffee this morning about how gold's down $20 per ounce, and I know, right, it was a little bit of a heartbreak. Not going to say that again. I want you to look at the 60-day chart of gold. I even colored it in for you. Hey guys, I'm still here. As you can see, we were near $1,800 in the last 60 days. Today, we're all the way over here, $2,050 per ounce. So, do we have, was last night, yeah, sure, we all got super excited, new all-time high in gold, and silver was moving as well. In this video, we are going to talk about $100 silver. Sure, they knocked down gold by $100, but I got something I want to share with you that's going on now. Nobody seems to be talking about it. That could lead us easily to $100 silver. But this shows us, right, that we're actually still in pretty darn good shape when it comes to the gold price. My gosh, we were 60 days ago, we were flirting with 1,800. Thank you, Mr. Shovel, 1968. You guys are being super generous with the super chats this morning. Thank you. Okay. Manipulation. Let's talk about that. Is this a case of the COMEX and the LBMA are the manipulators, the price tampers, coming through and manipulating the price down? Do you think that this $100 smash had anything to do with manipulation? I think it does. I'm not a big gold and silver. We don't talk about that on a regular basis, and there's people that have made an entire career out of doing that. But I will say, this sure feels like some manipulation. I wonder how many of you think, either say type manipulation or type no. I think I've spelled it correctly for you there. Do you think that this is a case of gold being manipulated, silver being manipulated? And look, basement dwellers, right? My friends who have been here, all right, we've been through this together. We actually talked about this. I talked about it yesterday morning. We talked about, we got to be tough. They're going to throw all kinds of difficulty in our path as gold and silver investors. The powers that be do not want silver and gold to go higher. Unfortunately for the powers that be, they can only exert so much force, right? They only have so much, and things are changing like we've talked about, like no other time in history. And these changes that are occurring are positive influences, right? A confluence of positive influences for the silver price and the gold price. Professor, hey, yes, I love Professor Vinny. He'll be on late next week. All right, guys, manipulated. We've got, yes, absolutely. To me, it does feel like there's certainly a component of manipulation in what's gone down, okay? What's gone down. Massive volatility is typically a good sign before we're going to have a big move. So we can still expect, and we still have $2,000 gold. Heck, we even have $2,050 gold, and we still have let's check on silver. Silver's been getting beat today. I'll give you a live update on the silver price right now. The silver price, spot price, $24.99. We're going to round it up and say $25 per ounce. Again, the longer amount of time that we spend at this $24, $25 range for silver, the longer that we spend above $2,000 for gold, right? We're building a base. We're consolidating. We broke through last night. We can break through again. I'm late on the bells. You guys have given me 120 thumbs up. I owe you 12 rings of the bell. That's one ring of the bell for each 10 thumbs up. This is the bell warning. Here it comes. couple extra bells because we need it this morning. Okay, when we get to 200 thumbs up, I will ring the famous cowbell. Okay, but let's talk more about what's going on. We got to be tough, right? We've talked about that. We looked at the 60-day chart. Everything is okay. I get this feeling. Do you ever get that? I just get this feeling that what happened last night, as difficult as it is for many of us to comprehend, that it's actually, we're going to look back in 2 months, we're going to look back in maybe 2 weeks, we're going to look back in 3 or 4 months and remember that and be like, that was a sign of things to come. Okay, people were willing to buy gold at a much, much higher place, and we did get a new all-time high in the spot price for gold. All-time highs, think about this, and we're going to move on because we got these big factors, one of which is going to be crazy for the silver market, the others which are crazy supportive for both gold and silver. But when things go to new all-time highs, they typically keep going higher and higher and higher. That's a fact. So buckle up, hang in there, things will get better. I was listening to a guy, Martin Armstrong, talk the other day. And he was laying out this case that there's nothing that is as supportive for the gold and silver, for precious metals, like geopolitical turmoil, in particular war. And let's just get a quick update because, while things seem to have simmered down in Israel for a week or so, they're back at it. Let me read you a couple just to get you up to speed on what's going on over there. Headline, Israel expands ground operations to the whole of Gaza, seeking total victory. They're going full speed ahead again. Unfortunately, we don't want gold to go up on the back of human suffering and war. But again, this is just what's going on. Netanyahu also again warned Hezbollah that its further involvement in the war could bring about the destruction of all of Lebanon. So now they're talking about Lebanon getting involved, but it gets even crazier, guys, absolutely even crazier, because over the weekend in the Red Sea, the Houthi rebels attacked a number of ships, including a U.S. warship. And why is that a big deal? Because the Houthis are supported by Iran, and many people think that the U.S. is headed for an armed conflict with Iran. And that could be absolutely devastating on many, many, many levels, right? A war with Iran is not a good thing, and especially for that region. So the bottom line is, it's unfortunate, but geopolitically, in terms of turmoil that's erupting throughout the world, things are not getting better in the Middle East. It's heating up even more. So we need to keep a close eye on what's going on over there. And what do people do when they get freaked out in the world, right? It's not just you and me. Like, we're together. You're in Boise, you're in New York City, you're in San Francisco. You guys are everywhere. I'm in St. Louis. Where are you? Put it in the chat, right? Let everybody know where you're from. We want to hear, right? We're all over the place. But people all over the world, when they get scared, countries, right? Chinese, Saudi Arabians, where do they run for safety? Well, you know where they used to run? They used to run to U.S. Treasuries. But you know what? They don't want to run to U.S. Treasuries anymore because they know the reality behind the U.S. Treasuries. They're getting concerned with the gross fiscal and monetary mismanagement that's occurred in the United States, that they'll ever get paid back. So where are people running? Where are people of the world? Where are central banks running? Gold. Right? And when I talk gold, I'm talking silver at the same time. Now, the other big story, let's go to story number 2. And we're hearing more and more about this. Mainstream media is talking about this now. We've talked about it for months and months, but everyone is waiting and now predicting, when is the Fed going to cut rates? And Jerome came out last week and tried to put on this dog and pony show about how hawkish he can still be, and the market called his bluff. Guys, things are changing when it comes to how the market is perceiving the Fed. And when the Fed actually starts to cut, and it'll likely be even before that, because silver and gold look out into the future. They're like you and me, right? They're looking at all the trees, right? Looking and trying to see the forest through the trees. The price of silver and gold from a Fed perspective, from a that's called monetary policy perspective, right? Gold and silver are sniffing out big changes, big trouble, right? Gold and silver, the central banks of the world, the wealthy of the world are sniffing out big trouble. And where do they go? Where are they going to go? Right? They will, and they are going to the precious metals, because they've provided the safe harbor, not just for decades, not just for centuries, but for the millennia, for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, okay? Let's remember also, I heard some statistics last night as everything was blowing up. Do you know, right? Yeah, sure, we hit a new nominal all-time high in gold, but the real, when you adjust the previous all-time highs in gold, okay, when you adjust that for inflation, we still got a long runway ahead of us. It's north of $3,000 per ounce, okay? Silver, if you adjust it for inflation, the real number, right? What you need for silver is approaching $100 per ounce. So we still have this massive runway ahead of us, guys, for the precious metals. Hey, I really appreciate you being here. If you want to get your hands on some metals before possibly everybody else wakes up, don't forget to check out Pimbex. They're an online bullion dealer. They sponsor Ron's Basement. They make this video possible. Dig into the company. I encourage you, right? Throw them into the mix. You want to make sure you trust who you're buying your bullion from. I trust Pimbex. And what I like even better is the fact that I can call them on the phone if I have to, talk to a real human being. But what I like even best is the fact that their prices are always the best, okay? Hard to beat, okay? Absolute, great value, great service, and I trust them. Check out Pimbex, Pimbex, Pimbex.com. I love to say that. I think you'll find what I find. They check all the boxes. Now, what about silver? Let's talk about $100 silver. Let's talk about $85 silver. Let's talk about, please, one last time I'll beg you, give this a thumbs up. That's a little virtual hug. That's your way of telling me that you're enjoying being here, because I enjoy having you here. Yes, you, right? We're all over the world. Trust me, guys, right? There will be tens of thousands of people that watch this live stream, and we are dispersed all over the world. But there's only one person that matters, and that's you, because without you being here, we wouldn't be having Ron's Basement. There'd be no point. That's why they stopped calling it RonTube a while back, and they call it YouTube. So thank you for being here, and I mean that. It's a big honor when you join me here in the basement, and we love our silver. Let's talk about $100 silver. Easy. And the biggest story that's going on right now, okay? Hey, and CoinShop Chris keeps throwing virtual ding-dongs at me, right? You guys know CoinShop Chris. He's one of the moderators, and all the moderators that are here today. I see Sassy Silver. I see Jake. I see Annie Oakley. I see Jim M. And, of course, CoinShop Chris. The moderators are great. I'm going to type 8 in the chat to say thank you for the moderators. 8 is great, and so are all these moderators. They go out of their way, donate their time to do their best to help make these live stream events what they are. So thank you to all the moderators. And I know all those moderators, and I know you. How do you like the idea of $100 silver? You probably like the idea of $85 silver. Heck, we like the idea of 50 silver and 45, and we're going to hit all those prices in the coming years. That's my belief. I don't have a crystal ball. I just look at all the evidence, try to piece it all together, and that's what I see. And you know, Pixie at the pixie.substack.com came out with a great piece of research this weekend that right now, as you and I are talking here together right now, the world's consuming north of 260 million ounces per year for the solar panel industry. And Pixie says their estimate is more like 286 million ounces. And you know that the mines, the silver mines, only pump out about 800 million ounces per year, and that number has been going down. So you've got 300 million ounces being used by solar panels and only 800 million being produced. And there's all this other electronic use for silver, right? Everything electronic, electric cars, microprocessors, your refrigerator, your cell phone. So, but solar taking up 300 of the 800 total amount supplied. That's a big deal. But there's a big story right now, and this is also happening right now, and you're probably, unless you're a silver freak like me, who spends a lot of time digging in, don't realize this is going on. Maybe you do, guys, but there's a big thing right now, COP28. What's COP28? Well, it is let me tell you why this makes up for $100 silver. A COP is called a Conference of Parties. I guess we're having a COP right now. We're a Conference of Parties here. Basement Dwellers here in the basement. By the way, thank you for subscribing to the channel. We did hit 30,000 subscribers, which is a big deal, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate when you join me here. I appreciate when you give me your time. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. I will put out a new piece of content every single day for the rest of my life. That means you can look at me as your new friend, okay? Let me have a sip of coffee, and then we're going to talk about this $100 silver. You know what? We need a little pick-me-up. Let's talk about $120 silver, okay? Oh, my gosh. I will ring the cowbell. We got the 200 thumbs up, but I've been blabbing on for too long. Let's dig into the COP, a Conference of Parties. Remember the Paris Accords? Remember the Paris Accords? You probably have heard of that, right? That was the result of the 2015 COP, Conference of Parties. It's when leaders from all over the world, I mean like China, India, South America, North America, everywhere, they get together and they are freaking out about climate change. Okay, now this has everything to do with the $120 silver, so stay with me. The Paris Accords laid out a set of framework and what the world powers were going to do to address climate change. Now, they have this little calculation they make that they don't want the average temperature of the Earth to go up by more than 1.5 degrees as compared to the pre-industrial revolution, which would be like the year 1850 through the year 1900. And we're having a little trouble with that. The temperature of the Earth, they say, keeps going up. This is not a climate change show. This is a show about silver getting to $120, and that has everything to do with silver getting to $120 because we got big money going on and big announcements that are going to come out of this COP28. It's been telegraphed, okay, but it gets even crazier that they're going to announce a worldwide agreement to triple the amount of green energy generation capacity between now and the year 2030. They want to triple what we have right now. They want to have the green energy capacity tripled by the year 2030. Not what we've done just this year. All the green energy, all the solar panels, we'll focus in on that have been installed throughout history. Whatever we have right now, in the next 6 years, they want to triple that. Okay, now, you got to understand, remember what we talked about earlier, right? Already, for every 8 ounces of silver that are being mined this year, 3 of them are going to the solar panel industry. They're talking about, the numbers are mind-boggling, tripling, not just this year's, but what's gone on throughout history, okay? Tripling the amount of solar panels. On top of that, we've talked about this, but it bears repeating. The new generations of solar panels will use more and more silver. The new technology. There's like 3 levels. The current one is PERC. The next one is, I forget what it's called, TCON or DEFCON, or I forget. Anyway, the bottom line is, the important thing is the newer solar panels we use more. We're going to have a lot more panels, and those lot more panels are going to have a lot more silver in them. And now they're even talking about bifacial. Do you know what bifacial means? That's solar panels that have panels on each side. So double. But what's crazy about this, right? The lens, have you heard of BlackRock? Remember BlackRock? They bought a bunch of PSLV not too long ago. BlackRock is the largest institutional investor in the world. Okay? They run the SLV ETF, and then for some crazy reason, they bought a bunch of PSLV, which is actually the Sprott Physical Trust. Okay? Larry Fink, who's the head of BlackRock, is at this COP conference, COP28. Okay, this is serious, what's going on. So we've got big changes coming to the silver world, right? Now, just a little icing on top for us silver investors, because today's been a rough day, right? Also, realize this. We have this unbelievable demand source coming from solar, and I keep talking about this because it's so important to the silver business, silver investors like you and me. When we do, and Rick Rule said this, and I'm sorry, I apologize in advance, I got to ring the cowbell. Let me ring the cowbell. I almost forgot. We're almost to 300 thumbs up. What are you guys doing, man? We got 500 basement dwellers together on a tough morning for precious metals investors. Hang in there, guys. Where the heck did that chart go that I had? Don't forget, those of you who's just joined us, I want you to look at that. That's a 60-day chart of the price of gold. Sure, we're getting clobbered today. Sure. And I got this inkling of a feeling that we could close positive in gold, but I'm probably wrong. But nonetheless, it's a big deal you're here. Thank you for the thumbs up. Let's ring the bell. This is the 3-second warning, because some people don't like the bells. And I don't want to hurt your ears. And I'm a delicate, sensitive flower myself, so I'm going to ring the bell. Turn off your earbuds. We start out in slow motion, and then we speed up. Come on, go! This one's for you, baby. I had a lot of aggressions I had to work out. The icing on top, silver, okay? The silver icing. Not going to call it a silver lining. Yeah, silver lining, silver icing on top. As the world runs out of silver, okay, at the same time, investors are going to come back to silver, because guess what, guys? Investors have been dumping silver. The SLV ETF has a post-silver squeeze low in terms of their holdings of silver, okay? Talk to the guys. I talk to the guys that run the online bullion dealers. I talk to the local coin shops. Sales have been going down. When that turns, and that will turn, because look. Right? This is the Dixie. That's the toilet paper index. That doesn't matter. That just shows you everything, especially that imagine that says silver investor, retail investor silver demand. It goes up and down, okay? It's going to go up and down. What other charts do I have to show you here? Oh, man, I almost forgot. This is the most important part, guys, right? Remember this? That's the cup and handle. So as we're crying in our coffee this morning, don't forget, this is silver cup from 1980 to 2011 and handle, okay? The the most reliable, the most powerful chart. I only bring you the best and the biggest. We aren't doing, I'll talk about the wedgie another time. This is the best and the biggest chart. And guess what? There's a bonus. Okay? You can erase this number, these numbers, and you can put gold in there. Gold also has a massive cup and handle. Peter Grandich will tell you. Anybody, that guy on CNBC that I actually kind of like, the one guy that does all the charts, they all will tell you we got a massive cup. We got a massive cup and handle in silver and gold. So we got our rear ends handed to us, right? Right? Yeah, we got our rear ends handed to us this last day. That's okay. We can take it. Body blow, body blow, body blow, body blow. But you know what, guys? Everything is okay. And remember, right? And I got to finish that thought. Susie gets mad at me. Susie and I were married for 19 years yesterday. That's a different story. I could talk about that for hours. The big deal is, right, that when people come back, especially to silver and gold for that matter, right? Because really, retail investors, but when people come back to silver, just at the time that there's not enough silver to even satisfy, there's not enough silver now to satisfy the current demand, that they're getting, like last year, they used over like close to 250 million more ounces of silver than were provided by the mining and recycling industry. They're already eating into the above ground surplus, right? Which some people say is about 2 billion ounces. Who knows for sure? But what we do know is that whatever it is being eaten away, chipped away at. And when the other people wake up, congratulations, you're awake. I can tell you that. I know you. I know you. I know you are awake, right? You are not asleep. But when the other people wake up, again, right, that neighbor of yours who isn't necessarily so interested in silver and gold, right? Well, when they start to wake up, that's when it's going to be crazy, crazy, crazy town. Don't forget, check out our other sponsor, First Mining Gold. They happen to have 13 million ounces of gold in the ground in Canada, including 2 world-class size projects that these big mining companies are going to need because their pipeline, the big miners, their pipelines are running dry. First Mining has 2 world-class size projects in Canada, each with over 5 million ounces of gold. Springpole in Ontario and Duparquet in Quebec. Did I mention those are in Canada, which is a good place? Now, look, I know you're like me. You like to hold metal in your hand, right? Right? Well, you know what? To me, the second best thing, I don't want to hold it in an ETF. I'd rather own part of a company like First Mining Gold that owns a ton of gold that's buried in the ground. And hundreds of millions of dollars were spent drilling and defining those gold deposits. Go to their website, check them out. If you want more information, don't forget, and Susie's yelling at me, what? What? Bong? I don't do drugs. What'd you say? Oh, gong. I thought she said bong. Gong. I don't do drugs. Reach out to Paul Morris, the Director of Investor Relations at First Mining Gold. I got to ring the gong. You guys got us to 300 thumbs up. We got more to come. Hold on. 300 thumbs up means 3 rings of the gong. This is a gong warning, not a bong warning, a gong warning. Hey, buddy, that's Neil's Platinum Bear. His blindfold comes off when platinum hits 2,500. That's the Gold Bear. His blindfold comes off when gold hits 2,500. Okay, and that's Smitty, the Silver Bear. His blindfold comes off when silver hits $85. And Coin Shop Chris and I go on a worldwide tour in an RV that's painted half silver and half gold. And we will be looking for sponsors, and we will be coming to your town. Yeah, we're even going to put it on a ship and go across the ocean. All right, guys. Thanks for being here today. I'm going to wrap it up. Have a great day, okay? And I'll see you tomorrow.